Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam from the second canto, chapter 2, entitled The Lord in the Heart, text number 36. Tasmat Sarvatmanarajan Hari Sarvatra Sarvada Shrutavya Kirtitavascha Smartavyo Bhagavandanam Tasmat Sarvatmanarajan Hari Sarvatra Sarvada Shrutavya Kirtitavascha Smartavyo Bhagavandanam Tasmat Sarvatmanarajan Hari Sarvatra Sarvada Shrutavya Kirtitavascha Smartavyo Bhagavandanam
Tasmat Sarvatmanarajan Harihi Sarvatra Sarvada Shrutavya Kirtitavyascha Smartavyo Bhagavandanam
Tasmat Sarvatmanarajan Harihi Sarvatra Sarvada Shrutavya Kirtitavyascha Smartavya Bhagavandanam
Tasmat Sarvatmanarajan Hari Sarvatra Sarvada Shrutavyo Kirtitavyascha Smartavyo Bhagavandanam
Ladies.
Tasmat Sarvatmanarajan Hare Sarvatra Sarvada Shrutavya Kirtitavyascha Smartavyo Bhagavandanam
Tasmat Sarvatmanarajan Hare Sarvatra Sarvada Smartavyo Bhagavandanam
Tasmat. Therefore. Sarva. All. Atmana. Soul. Rajan. O King. Hari. Lord. Sarvatra. Everywhere. Sarvada. Always. Shrutavya. Must be heard. Kirtitavya. Glorified. Cha. Also. Smartavya. Be remembered. Bhagavan. The personality of Godhead. Nirnam. By the human being. Translation. O King, it is therefore essential that every human being hear about, glorify, and remember the Supreme Lord. personality of Godhead, always and everywhere. Srila Sukadeva Goswami begins this verse with the word tasmat, or therefore, because in the previous verse he has already explained that there is no auspicious means for salvation other than the sublime process of Bhakti Yoga. The Bhakti Yoga process is practiced by the devotees in different modes like hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, worshipping, praying, rendering service in love, becoming friendly, and offering all that one may possess. All 9 methods are bona fide methods, and either all of them, some of them, or even one of them can bring about the desired result for the sincere devotee. But out of all the 9 different methods, the first one, namely hearing, is the most important function in the process of Bhakti Yoga. Without hearing sufficiently and properly, no one can make any progress by any of the methods of practice. And for hearing only, all the Vedic literatures are there, compiled by authorized persons like Vyasadeva, who is the powerful incarnation of Godhead. And since it has been ascertained that the Lord is the supersoul of everything, he should therefore be heard and glorified everywhere and always. That is the special duty of the human being. When a human being gives up the process of hearing about the all-pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead, he becomes victim to hearing rubbish transmitted by man-made machines. Machinery is not bad because through the machine one can take advantage of hearing about the Lord. But because machinery is used for ulterior purposes, it is creating rapid degradation in the standard of human civilization. It is said here that it is incumbent upon the human beings to hear, because the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are made for that purpose. Living beings other than human beings have no ability to hear such Vedic literature. If human society gives itself to the process of hearing the Vedic literature, it will not become a victim to the impious sounds vibrated by impious men who degrade the standards of the total society. Hearing is solidified by the process of chanting. One who has perfectly heard from the perfect source becomes convinced about the all-pervading personality of God, and thus becomes enthusiastic in glorifying the Lord. All the great acharyas like Ramanuja, Madhva, Chaitanya, Saraswati Thakur, or even in other countries, Muhammad, Christ, and others have all extensively glorified the Lord by chanting always and in every place. Because the Lord is all-pervading, it is essential to glorify Him always and everywhere. In the process of glorifying the Lord, there should be no restriction of time and place. This is called Sanatan Dharma or Bhagavat Dharma. Sanatan means eternal, always and everywhere. Bhagavat means pertaining to Bhagavan, the Lord. The Lord is the master of all time and space, and therefore the Lord's holy name must be heard, glorified, and remembered everywhere in the world. That will bring about the desired peace and prosperity, so eagerly awaited by the people of the world. The word cha includes all the remaining processes or methods of Bhakti Yoga, as mentioned above. Om Jnanatimrangasya Gyanandana Sarabhya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Krishnam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadambiyam Dadati Swapadam Yegam Vandekam Shiguro Sitapadakamanam Shigurum Vaishnavamscha Shirupam Sagrajatam Sahaganaranam Kitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanam Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakham Puscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Godesha Devanta Radhakanta Namaste Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwana Sudhe Pranamani Hripriye Vanchakalpayurya Vipassana Vedacha, Patitanam Bhavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Gaura, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Somehow or other, all time and all space. Fix this now. So, all time and all space is belonging to Krishna. Therefore, it is said that one who is not using all time and all space for Krishna is stena, or a thief. He is stealing, actually, what doesn't belong to him. So, it's not my time. It's not your time. It's Krishna's time. That's quite something to think about it in depth. It's not my space, not yours. I need my space. Sorry. No. We don't have any space. No. Only Krishna's space. So that statement is quite strong. And if we think about it, it shakes our concept of reality a little bit. Yes, generally, my time, my space are a very fundamental concept in our thinking, in our outlook of reality. But we see that Srila Prabhupada truly had that understanding. It's not my time, it's Krishna's time, and it's not my space, it's Krishna's space. This is truly the consciousness of Vrindavan. It is mentioned in the Sandarbhas that Vrindavan is, or Mathura it says there, Mathura is a state of consciousness. And that is a fact. Sometimes the question comes up about Prabhupada creating different projects and naming them like New Vrindavan or New Mayapur. And then the question is, that is raised, is this New Vrindavan, is it really like Vrindavan? Some say, well, how can it be? How can it be? Because Vrindavan is eternal. When all the material world ceases to exist, Vrindavan still remains. So it is stated, the eternal abodes of the Lord are never destroyed. So Vrindavan remains. Maybe not the auto rickshaws, but I hope. But the spiritual world remains. So if we make a new Vrindavan, will that also remain then? Maybe not. There is no difference between Vrindavan and New Vrindavan for one who has that consciousness, that Vrindavan consciousness, because he resides in Vrindavan. So then one can be. The temple is also a manifestation of Vrindavan. Melbourne Temple is not an ordinary place, not a place of this world. As soon as you step through that gate, something happens. We enter into the spiritual world. Although we may not immediately see it like that, but it is. It is. So it is part of Vrindavan. It is included. But only one who has Vrindavan consciousness can see it like that. Only such a person can see it like that. Only such a person can see Krishna everywhere. Wherever he is, he sees Krishna. So it means that we have to fill the time and space with worship, glorification, service to Krishna. That is the key. That is the point that is made here. Smartavyam satatam Vishnu Vismatavyo najatasit sarvavidigi sedushu eteyo etekinkaram. Srila Prabhupada in the purport is making, or first of all making the point about always remembering Krishna, never forgetting him. And then he explains that the means to come to that is the ninefold process of devotional service. Hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, and more. And then he goes over these 9 processes a little bit, and then he identifies that the most important one of all, we would think, is chanting Hare Krishna. But this time he says, no, the most important is hearing. Because it is the source of everything. It begins there. It begins there. From hearing, automatically chanting comes. No hearing, then it becomes difficult to chant. Very difficult. Hearing is at the same time something we don't do enough. That is for sure. We just somehow or other don't find time for that. Reading, when did I read Prabhupada's book for the last time? Can't remember. We don't read. That is the fact. We don't hear. Prabhupada speaks about the machines here. Although he says that machines are very quickly leading to the degradation of society, he is pointing out that if the same machines are used in the service of Krishna, then he said, machinery is not bad, because through the machine one can take advantage of hearing about the Lord. So Prabhupada was, in that respect, very modern, very much the Acharya of the modern age. Prabhupada gave initiations also in that way. At least second initiation he gave by a tape, in a tape with the Gayatri mantra. So normally the Gayatri mantra is spoken by the spiritual master in the ear of the disciple. So some people in India have objected. How could he do this? This is not bona fide. Those people are not initiated. No, this is not bona fide. How can it be on the tape? How can that be bona fide? But Prabhupada, he did it like that. Just play the recording on the machine. That is not the same as speaking it in the ear. So therefore the initiations don't count, some will say. Of course I would argue back and would say, yes, but it is said that when Sukadeva Goswami, when he finally came out of the womb of his mother, where he remained for 16 years, to the great discomfort of his mother, when he came out, he did not wait. He did not wait for anything. His father said, at least wait, let me give you some education. Did not wait. His father then said, then at least let me give you the sacred thread. At least that much, at least some sanskar. He didn't wait. He just left. And his father then went into the forest after his son, and he called out his name. And it said, no response was there, no response at all, except the echo that came off the trees. And the echo that came off the trees, it is said, that also was bona fide. That was the chanting of the trees. So here we see. So a tape recording is just like an echo. It's an echo of the voice. So therefore we say the chanting on the machine is also bona fide because it's the echo. Just like, so in this way we can appreciate. Then Sukadeva, who did not want to come back, then Vyasadeva began to recite certain verses from the Bhagavatam. And when Sukadeva heard these verses, it's a difference. He did come back. And his father, because Bhagavatam is so attractive, that even a self-realized soul is attracted by descriptions of Krishna. They're naturally attractive. So they attracted the heart of Sukadeva, who came, and his father then instructed him in Srimad Bhagavatam. So in this way, we see that education is valuable after all, but not mundane education, not the ordinary education of this world, but simply the education of Krishna consciousness. One who is perfectly Krishna conscious, he need not worry about anything. Everything will be supplied. Everything will come on the path. It's when we choose to be compromised that we have to compromise. When we choose to not rely on Krishna, then we have to start relying on material securities. Then the question is, what education do you have? What do you have in the bank? What kind of savings do you have? Do you own your house, or are you only renting? But if you're only renting, what security do you have? Whereas if you have your house, well, that's an asset. You have that, you see, and that's security. And how long can we stay in that house? For a while. Then what kind of security is the house offering? Hard to say. The real security is in Krishna. That is all that remains. And the more one places his faith in Krishna, the more everything becomes successful. And that's what you see in Srila Prabhupada, who came to the Western world with 40 rupees and then so many assets at the end of his life, so many assets. Some journalist would inquire about Prabhupada's wealth. They were seeing him as one of those gurus who are exploiting and living off the wealth of their disciples. And said, so at one point, Prabhupada volunteered. He said, yes, I have many cars. Oh, you are writing. Many cars. Yes, Prabhupada said, yes, I have cars all over the world. Oh, cars, Swami has cars. You could see the headlines, it's going to be good. And then he said, yes. And my disciples, they are driving in these cars everywhere to spread the message of the Bhagavad Gita. They ripped up their notes and said, this won't make any article useless. They tried to portray him like selfish, like an exploiter. And instead, he turned it around and just showed selflessness. Selflessness. All possessions, simply maintaining them in a selfless way. Yes. So many temples, so many buildings, so many cars, so many things, but all in a selfless way. Yes, so many rooms, large rooms, yes, and Prabhupada filled them up with devotees who would come in and meet him there for darshan. So, no selfish use of any of the facility, no such thing, just all for Krishna as much as possible. So yes, this is Krishna consciousness, and if only we could do so. But we are compromised. We came from a compromised background and we are still compromised. But all right. Let us then at least do the most important things. If we cannot use all our time for Krishna because we don't want to, then let us at least create a culture of hearing and chanting and remembering. Of the ninefold processes of devotional service, these three are the most important: hearing, chanting, and remembering. And let us somehow or other fill our time with that, hearing, chanting, and remembering of Krishna and of the Srimad Bhagavatam. I am now coming from Cape Town, South Africa. And there we have been speaking the whole week about Bali Maharaj. And Bali Maharaj, of course, somehow or other, he engaged in some pious activity. And simultaneously, the demigods were a little slack in their worship. And as a result, Bali Maharaj obtained the heavenly planets. And it is said that he was effulgent from the austerity and the sacrifices that he had performed. And when Indra saw this enormous effulgence, he realized, I can't stop him. And he didn't even fight. He just escaped straight away. And Bali Maharaj, therefore, without a fight, conquered the throne and had the throne of the three worlds. However, by his punya, by his piety, he was not the suitable person, because punya is important. Because when we engage in pious activity, the result is that our consciousness becomes pious. Then our thoughts become pious. And then our actions become pious. When we think, when we engage in purifying activities, then gradually the result is that our consciousness changes. Obviously, it is said, aparapta phalam apam kutam phalam kutam bijam phalam mukam kramaneva pridayeta Vishnu bhaktiratmanam. In the Vishnu Purana, it is stated that there is aparapta karma within the heart, unmanifest karma. Many reactions to many activities are stored within the heart, and the result is, these are like seeds that are within the heart, beejas, and these beejas, they create a particular inclination. They create an inclination. So therefore, because we have performed many sinful activities, there are many sinful beejas within the hearts, and therefore the inclination towards sin is there. Therefore the thoughts are sinful. Fortunately, it is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the chapter where Maharaj Pariksit is stopping Kali from entering the kingdom. At that point, there is a purport which mentions that the thoughts in the age of Kali are free. They're free. There is no, you can think whatever you like. There's no reaction. That is a bit of relief. Let's be frank. I mean, sometimes in the mind. In the mind, we've killed a few people. It happens. If there's a bad driver, for example. So what to do? And what not? So many other things may happen within the mind. But fortunately, there are no reactions for this thinking. But of course, if we contemplate sinful activities, then it may lead to sinful actions. Jayato visyapum sangatesu prajayate. Because contemplation causes attachment. And then from that attachment comes the desire to act. So we see in the Krishna book a description of Lord Krishna's daily activities. And there Krishna, when he was in Dwarka, was acting out the perfect standard of human life. And it said early in the morning when Krishna woke up, he would only see auspicious things. And would make very sure that he would see only auspicious things. How nice that if we could try and arrange it like that. So nice pictures, nice inspiring things, because all these things are creating sanskars, impressions upon our consciousness. Of course, in this day and age, it's not so easy to just see only auspicious things, because there is a little bit of maya and so on around us also. But we need to build such an environment. If we cannot reside in Vrindavan directly, then at least we build an environment which is reminding us like that. A holy place we require. Home has to be a place which reminds us of Krishna. Has to be a place that is pure. There cannot be any degrading influences in a home. That's not very good. The home situation should be nourishing, should be giving us spiritual strength, not draining. There is enough of draining association as soon as we step out of the door. So we should not let it into our home somehow or other. Not via the internet, not via the machines, I'm proud to say, not via the machines. So like that, we situate ourselves within a positive environment. That's where we build our strength. That's where we chant. That is where we hear. That is where we worship our deities. That is where we offer everything to Krishna. That home situation, there everything is strong and sustainable. Then we come out with great strength. We have to build this up, this environment as much as possible. As much as possible. And in the center of all that is our chanting of the holy name of the Lord. And then hearing. And then automatically remembering comes. Bali Maharaj, yes, was removed by the Supreme Lord from that position of Indra, because that position is reserved to one who is thoroughly pious, so that piety can emanate throughout the universe from the higher planetary systems. But then Bali Maharaj went beyond piety, because he was the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, but his father was a demon. It's also interesting that the son of Prahlad was a demon. It is said his father was Virochana. Virochana is described in the Upanishads, and it is stated that in the Chandogya Upanishad, it is stated that Virochana was chosen by the demons to go to Prajapati. Here the name Prajapati is the name of Lord Brahma. To go to Lord Brahma. And Indra was chosen by the demigods to go to Lord Brahma. And they were meant to go there and inquire as to what was the goal of life. Brahma received both of them. And they waited for a while, offered their obeisances, and then Brahma instructed them. He said, the goal of life is to enjoy. Makes sense, Virojana was thinking. Yes. And then Lord Brahma said, actually, the true self is the Atma. And he said, Atma means the body. It means the body. And therefore we must enjoy through our body by thoroughly enjoying our senses. This is it, Virojana thought. This is it. This is the truth. I've always known it. I've always known it. No, serious. So he's like, okay, satisfied, got the answer, done, job done, let's go back home and let's just tell everybody. So he went back, came to the demons and told them this. But Indra heard the same thing. Indra was thinking about the answer and was thinking, okay, that is a nice answer, all good and well, but the problem is that although I tried this, I'm still not happy. And although I try to enjoy, I'm not always enjoying. I'm sometimes suffering. So what about that? What do we do with that? I have to ask Brahma about this. So Indra went back. And Indra performed austerity. And gradually, Brahma revealed answers to him. He took it a step further, pointed out that not the body
is the soul, the mind, but Indra was also not satisfied with the mind. And finally he told him it's the soul and devotional service. Devotional service. So this was Virochana. This was, Virochana was the materialistic person on the body. So the son of Prahlad, how was it possible? Prahlad, such a devotee, had such a son, just see. No guarantee that the little darlings are going to become devotees. They have to choose themselves. They have to also hear. They have to hear. Even if they behave very devotional, doesn't mean they're convinced. They just imitate what their parents do. Whatever the parents do, they do. That's all. But they have to become convinced. So, to give them the example, and we have to explain to them why. Because children, they are questioning everything. They look very innocent and walking around, but they always ask these questions that, why are the bananas and so on? Yeah? The old banana questions, why are they curved? They want to know. It's a perennial question, the banana question. Why? Well, because that's not a satisfactory answer. Why these bananas? Why is everything as it is? Why are there stars in the sky? Why? 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 Why is there a moon at night and a sun in the day? Why not a moon in the day and a sun at night? Why? What's your answer? Why? Nobody knows. But the answer is so simple. But people just don't know. Why is it so? Because Krishna wants it. As simple as that. Because it is Krishna's desire. And he is all-powerful. That explains it all. Otherwise, what's the explanation? I don't know. And the professors also don't know. The teachers in the school, they also don't know. Nobody knows. But only the pure devotees know, because they accept that everything is the will of the Lord. And then, behind all that, we cannot understand everything about this world. The whys and the hows. But ultimately we understand Krishna's ultimate goal. When Krishna took everything away from Bali, it seemed ruthless. Here is Bali. Okay, his father was a demon, but his grandfather a devotee. And that had some good results, because when Bali Maharaj was approached by Vamanadev, Bali Maharaj's guru said, don't give. Yeah, but I've given my word. It doesn't count, because one should only keep his word if it doesn't conflict with one's personal advantage. Makes sense. Very logical. Very logical. But Bali Maharaj said, no, I've given my word, I must keep it. And he gave everything to the Lord. And then the Lord didn't reward him. The Lord had him bound up in that Vasuki snake rope, which was terrible and suffocating, and kept him hanging in there to a point where he was getting suffocated. So imagine, you've just surrendered everything to Krishna, and instead of giving you happiness, Krishna gives you trouble. I became a devotee, and now all these things are happening to me. My whole life has gone wrong since I turned to Krishna. And I did so much worship, and I didn't get anything. All I got is misery. I think I'm going back to worshipping Durga in Ganapati. Yes. Dhanam Dehi, Rupavati Dehi, Rupapariyam Dehi. May I become beautiful, may I become wealthy, may I become healthy, and may I get all good fortune. What good fortune is that? Some temporary material gain. So Bali Maharaj then did not care. He did not care. He didn't lose faith, even when he was in that difficulty, tied up. He maintained his faith throughout. And then in the end, he got a reward. He got a planet, Sutala. And that planet, by the arrangement of the Lord, Vishwakarma was ordered to construct palaces there, etc. And Vishwakarma is the architect of the demigods. And because he got the direct order of the Lord, he did even better than he did in the heavenly planets. So, in a way, Bali Maharaj got a better place. But yet, Indra was kept in the position of guiding the universe, which is what he was meant to be. So the Lord fulfilled everything, all his purposes. And it is like that. Let us look at the Pandavas for a moment. And the Pandavas, they were in the forest banned for 12 years already. And in that 12th year, one day Karna comes to Duryodhana. And Karna says to Duryodhana, I have a great idea. Great idea. Oh, what is it? Let's go to where the Pandavas are. My spies have informed me where they are in the forest. And let us go there and show off all our opulence. Now we have been in power for 12 years. After 12 years in power, you are well established. Now I'm in Australia for 12 years. You got everything. Yeah. Yes. So, Duryodhana, Karna, they lived in great opulence. They had everything. So Duryodhana said, great idea, let's go. And they went on elephants, all the queens decked out in their best and everything, and ready to go. And they went there, but on the way, they came past this lake, and there was a personality that came from that lake and said, stop, you cannot go any further. And Duryodhana was there with a powerful army and like showing off all his opulence. So Duryodhana's like, who are you? One person to tell me that I cannot go here? I mean, do you see who we are? I mean, do you see that got this huge army behind me? Get out of the way. Get out of my way. Anyway, it became a big fight. The personality was a Gandharva, and it's a huge thing. And the Kurus were losing bad. Even Karna had to retreat. Meanwhile, the Pandavas were nearby, and they heard all about it. And Bhima goes, great. These Gandharvas are doing a great job. They're doing us a great favor. I mean, this is fantastic. This is really good. Yudhishthira says, no, Bhima. No, Bhima. He said, actually, he is our relative. And he is our relative. He said, for us, in the family, there may be a distinction between Kurus and Pandavas. He said, but for the world, we are one family, we are all Kurus. And they're attacking our family member, and we have to save. And Bhima goes, we have to save Duryodhana? So this was a bit of a shock, and even Arjuna couldn't believe it. But Yudhishthira was insisting, yes, we have to go and save Duryodhana. So okay, well, we have to go and save Duryodhana. So they were getting ready to go, and then Yudhishthira said, but I cannot go. What? He's not going, we have to go. He says, yes, I cannot go, I have to stay back and do some sacrifice. I have to finish my sacrifice, you go.
So this was really too much. They had to go. Anyway, they went. And Arjuna got into the fight and got a huge fight, and the Pandavas started to win. And the Gandharvas, they flew up in the sky and took Duryodhana with them. And then Arjuna shot so many arrows so fast that it made a net in the sky. And then the Gandharvas couldn't get away. And then Arjuna aimed his arrow at them and said, "Release Duryodhana." So, well, you know, I mean, Gandharva said, "We only did it to do you a favor." Arjuna said, "Release Duryodhana." So then they released him, and Duryodhana felt so terrible, so terrible. But he just looked at the ground, and as custom went, he mumbled and he said to Arjuna, "Okay, what benediction do you want for saving my life?" So Duryodhana said, "I'll take that Arjuna said, "I'll take that later." He did. It's another story. And that's the Mahabharata. You go into one story, you get into another story, and before you know it, 3 hours are gone. So we have to save this for later. But the point was that the Pandavas are all known as pure devotees, all of them. Bhima also. Bhima is a pure devotee. But still, Bhima is not in charge. He's not. Because he's a bit of a hothead. You know, although a transcendental hothead, nonetheless. But still, he does need an elder brother, like Yudhisthira, to keep him sort of under control. Oh, Bhima, wait. There are many situations where Bhima had to be held back. Even Krishna once had to hold him back. That's that story where Asvatthama was captured and he had killed the sleeping sons of Draupadi. And Asvatthama was, well, some said he should be killed, some said he should be not killed. Bhima said, "Let's kill him now." Draupadi said, "No, let's be merciful. I don't want his mother to suffer like I'm suffering, the loss of her son. No, let's not kill him." Bhima said, "Let's kill him now." Krishna told Arjuna, you must kill him. Yudhisthira took the side of Draupadi, said, no, we should be merciful. He's a Brahmana, we should not kill him. And Bhima said, "All right, if you keep on talking like this, I'll do it myself." And Draupadi just jumped in between Bhima and Asvatthama and said, "Stop!" You know, a full family drama, straight from the Hindi movie. And then Krishna, he manifested 2 extra arms and jumped in between, 2 for Bhima, 2 for Draupadi, and so settled the domestic issues there and then. So Bhima was like that, he was a little hot-headed. But Yudhisthira had so much piety. He was not only a pure devotee, but he was just at such a pure and pious nature that he was always balanced and always acting in the right way. So it is like that. So even devotees, as we see, are balanced by each other. And some are chosen by Krishna to be the leader. And then others must follow like that, by their qualities, So, very interesting how we are Krishna conscious. We try and have our own personal practices. In one sense, we are alone. Prabhupada says it's like a plane. When a plane is on the ground, there's so many people walking around this plane. You know, some are putting the fuel, some are checking the tires, some are putting some wires and speak on the phone to the pilots. We don't know what they're all doing, but so many things they're doing. Luggage is loaded and unloaded. All these ends around this little plane.
But Prabhupada said, but when it's in the air, then you're all alone. Spiritual life is like that. If we get in our life, we get so much support, but at the last moment of our life, we are alone, completely alone, facing Krishna alone. Even so, now we get all the support, and we take advantage of that. So some things we do alone. When we chant Hare Krishna, we chant. It's us before Krishna. Yes, we can sit with a japa tape, we can sit with 20 devotees. That's Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. It's amazing that when people fall asleep in the middle of a mantra, that they have sometimes a 20-second break and then continue with the next word. It's quite impressive. Yeah. Anyway, whatever may be. So we need support, we need association, and we take the benefit of that. We depend on it. We need guidance. We need to take shelter of senior devotees to lead us. We should not think, by now I'm so experienced, now I can figure it out myself. No, only when the Vaishnavas tell us, you lead, then we lead. Otherwise, we follow. And in this way we have all the shelter. But ultimately, we have to do it. From all that support, we have to do it. We have to do the hearing. We have to do the chanting. Because at the end of our life, we have to remember Krishna. A whole life of practice, abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasanam yagamina. A whole life of practice. And then yam yam bhapi smaran bhavam chaladiyanta kalevram. Then at the end, we can remember Krishna. Anta Narayan Smriti. So, support we get. We have to take advantage. We have to be humble and submissive. And then, we have to hear, chant, and then we will remember. And that is perfection of life. Because whatever state of being we remember at the end of life, that state we will attain without fail. Okay. So with that, I'll end. Any questions? Any comments? Yes?
I thought of asking about...
Could you do it a little louder?
I thought of asking about Duryodhana, what happened after he died, after life.
After he died. I don't know. Of course, it is said that all went back into Godhead, all those who were killed in the battle of Kurukshetra. But Duryodhana, he had envy. So envy is a big problem. So that needed to be purified. So one who is envious cannot return back to the spiritual world. One has to overcome this envy. That's all I know. But I don't know what his destination was. Question.
Maharaj, why the topics of Krishna are always fresh?
You have to say it again. I couldn't hear the word.
Why the topics about Krishna are always fresh?
Why are the topics of about Krishna always fresh? Well, it is said that when Krishna and Balaram left Vrindavan and were taken to Mathura, that then after they killed Kamsa and so on, that then their father felt, now, all this time I was not able to do my duty as a father. And as a father, my duty is to offer my sons an education. So then he made arrangements for their education and sent them to Sandipani Muni, where they got educated very nicely.
And they served their guru very nicely. And then at the end, Sandipati Muni gave a benediction to Krishna. And he said that your words, or whatever may be spoken about you, it will always remain ever fresh. So therefore, pastimes of Krishna are always ever fresh. And the words of Krishna are always fresh because of the benediction of Sandipati Muni. Of course, it says Sandipati Muni is like a mountain. And the mountain, it gets water from the clouds. And then it gives that water in the form of rivers, distributes it to everyone. So whatever, the clouds come from the ocean. So ultimately, whatever Sandipati Muni got, he got from Krishna. So the real answer to your question is that it is because Krishna is ever fresh. He's Navayodhanam, he's ever fresh. Therefore everything, ever, his words and descriptions about him are also ever fresh. Any other question? Yes.
With respect to your point regarding the hearing, like for example, even if we are sleeping, it's still like our ears are still active because of which we can hear the alarm clock or someone calling us. So is it that even if while we are sleeping or like listening to kirtan or any lectures, for example, will it really help us in increasing our consciousness even if we are...
Even while sleeping. Should we, so I stress the importance of hearing, and the question is it even beneficial to hear while we're sleeping? Yes, it is. It is. And there are devotees who do that. They put on a tape very softly, some even too much loud, when they're sleeping, and they're hearing like that, even while sleeping. So yes, if you feel inspired, you can do that softly, some kirtan or something in the back. Of course you may. Personally, I don't like it so much. I'm a light sleeper, and I don't sleep very well, even if there's soft anything. Yeah, I wake up all the time, so I don't do it. But yeah, some devotees do. Yeah. So that's a choice. Yes, as much healing as possible. So go for it. Finished?
Maharaj, we are talking about the Pandavas, all the Pandavas are pure devotees of the Lord, and we see these differences in their natures, like Bhima is very hot-headed, and Yudhishthira Maharaj's instructions were that no, we should see Duryodhana. He was thinking of the bodily relationship he had with him, and even though Duryodhana is so envious, still he wanted to save him. So how do we understand how they are pure devotees but still acting on such different platforms?
That's the interesting part, isn't it? That pure devotees, they are all purely dedicated to Krishna. From their side, they have no other interest than to please Krishna. So therefore, it would be all good. Yeah. If they sincerely serve Krishna, it is all. Everybody is spiritually getting all the benefit from it. But externally, we are acting according to principles of Dharma. Our life is governed by Dharma. And Yudhishthira was particularly very qualified to uphold Dharma. So devotees are also upholding Dharma, even for the sake of teaching Dharma to the world. So, therefore, within the community of devotees, those who have that strength of character that they can uphold spiritual principles very nicely and teach them very nicely, they get the prominent role as leaders of others. But it doesn't mean that the other devotees who are very simple and humble are spiritually any less. They may not be the leaders. One may be the leader and give so many lectures and lines, very good. Another may be very simple and just do very humble service all the time. But both can be pure devotees, and both will go back to God at the end of life. But their roles are different. Hanuman and the spider. Spider was throwing crumbs. Hanuman throwing mountains. Get out of my way, you spider. Can't you see I'm building a bridge here? No, Hanuman, Lord Ramachandra said. From my perspective, you are serving with all your might. He is serving with all his might. From my perspective, both of you are equal. From the perspective of the Lord. But from our perspective, Hanuman is the one we talk about. Not so much about the spider. So much. We don't have a spider chalisa. We speak about Hanuman. So, those devotees that can embody the spiritual principles in teaching, they take a leading role. Such devotees must be there, and they must be given respect, and we should not compete with them if we do not have the same qualification. We should not be envious. Higher should be no. We should not. We may be in charge to a certain point, but to the point that the Vaishnavas give it to us. When they don't give it, well, I'll just say. So that's interesting. Even amongst pure devotees, such distinctions. But all go back to God.
Maharaj, when we doing service, can we hear lecture, kirtan or chant?
Yes. When we do service, we can hear a lecture or do kirtan or chant. We can do all these things.
Can we concentrate on the work and do it properly?
Well, depends. I mean, sometimes maybe not. In that case, it depends what you're doing. If you're flying a plane and during the landing, then maybe it may not be a good idea to turn on the tape. Hare Krishna. Depends on what.
Like we doing cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah, and I personally can cook great. The better the kirtan, the better I cook. You put a real good kirtan on, the quality of the preparations improve. So, phalena pariciyate, judged by the results. That's the ultimate. If the result is bad, because you get distracted, then don't do it. Just like me, I don't like a tape while during sleeping because phalena pariciyate, the sleeping will be bad. So I don't put the tape while sleeping, in my case. But maybe for him it will work, so he should try, because he has a desire. So it depends. Phalena pariciyate, judged by the result. But the principle of hearing while we work, why not? The whole world works on music. Some laborers are building a house and there has to be the ghetto blaster. It's there. There's always this radio on, whenever they build, anywhere in the world, when they're building a house, there is a radio. Factories run music, shopping malls run music. Shop till they drop. Without music, they wouldn't sell. So, without kirtan, where's the juice? It's nice to have kirtan. Prabhu, I saw my hands.
Trying to formulate a question, how we can always be appreciative of
How
can we always remain appreciative of other devotees?
How can we always
Sometimes when we become familiar, we lose that appreciation sometimes.
Yeah.
The association with other devotees. So how can we always remain in the correct mood?
Yeah. How can we always remain appreciative of the association of devotees? And sometimes we lose it. How can we stay always in the correct mood? I think by thinking, I'm not appreciating the devotees at all. I think by thinking that we're always falling short in appreciation. As soon as we start thinking, yes, I'm appreciating the devotees, I think that's where we'll go wrong. Yes, I'm appreciating them very much, yes, I do. And that's where it goes wrong. And when we think, I'm not appreciating the devotees enough, really, then we can maybe stay more alert. Anyway, it's only a theoretical answer because I'm not appreciating the devotees enough. That's the problem. Keep on. But if we don't appreciate devotees enough, then we get corrected. And I wish I could tell you that my spiritual life was just ideal, that it was a beautiful, from day one, that everything was just perfect, and that I always appreciated the devotees very much. But the truth is, I didn't. But I get purified again and again, either by arrangements of Krishna, or he sends me some association just at the right time. Krishna is also there to look after us. That's our saving grace. But we must try to appreciate that we're not appreciating the Vaishnavas enough. That will help. And for the rest, where we fall short, just wait a while. Krishna will make an arrangement. Sometimes sweet, and sometimes hard, like a thunderbolt. Anyway, give credit to devotees. That is the key. Give credit to other devotees. Don't take any credit ourselves. That is the key. I saw another hand somewhere. Yeah.
Maharaj, you talked about the compassion of Draupadi when Ashwatthama was about to be killed.
Yeah.
Now, on one hand, we see that just earlier, Lord Krishna has advised Arjuna on true compassion versus false compassion on the bodily platform. And where even the instruction to Arjuna was, it doesn't matter, even if your spiritual, if your guru, Dronacharya, is on the other side, you can still take the weapon and finish it. Whereas on this side, when Draupadi is going through a similar emotion, then Lord Krishna simply, he gave another solution wherein just shave off his hair. So how do we understand?
It was not Krishna. It was not Krishna who came up with that solution. It was Arjuna. The solution of cutting the hair, the top knot of Ashwatthama, was actually Arjuna's solution. Krishna simply put pressure. He should be killed. He killed innocent children as sheep. He should be killed. Bhima was ready to do it. Yudhisthira said no. Draupadi said no. He should be compassionate. He's the son of a Brahmana. And then Arjuna had to decide now what to do. Because ultimately that's how it is. The ruler, the Kshatriya, has to act. He has to do something. So everyone has to act. Ultimately he had to take the instructions of the Lord and just apply them to the situation. So he did. He satisfied, he was intelligent, so he satisfied everyone. He was sensitive, he was a devotee. He said, my elder brother says no. How can I ignore him? Draupadi is a very noble person. She's full of compassion. Just see, how can I just write that off as cheap sentiment? And yet Krishna says he must be killed. And Bhima is right. Something must be done. So then finally he said, okay, I will kill his identity. He's not a Brahmana. Draupadi is saying he's a Brahmana. He's not a Brahmana. Therefore, I'll cut that top knot so that he will go around the world and show no longer as a Brahmana, no longer as Ashwatthama, but be the low personality that he really is. Because
like that. He killed his identity without killing him. So we can see it's not simple. It requires a lot of intelligence. And when we are not sure, then we should consult. Arjuna was very qualified. He understood rightly what to do. But we are not so qualified. So when we have to take difficult decisions, if we're not sure, we should consult a senior person. So yes, sometimes Krishna is not so easy to understand, his will. We would have probably at that stage said, well, Krishna is the ultimate authority, kill this Asvatthama. That was not Krishna's aim, so it's not easy to understand. So therefore we must be careful to, if there's any doubt, to take guidance from seniors, or at least if there are not so many real seniors of other devotees. Finished?
Did not give clear instructions.
Yeah.
He should have given clear instructions.
Ah.
He gave such a vague.
Because Brahma has 4 heads. See? He's thinking with 4 heads. And he thinks simultaneously. Therefore Brahma is supremely intelligent. So he could understand that what is the purpose of the Supreme Lord? And he could understand that the Lord, it is said, Savashitaham Vidisani Visto, Matasmiti Janam Apovanam Cha, Vedais Chasavaraham Vedan Ivachaham. Krishna says, I am in the heart of all living beings, I give them remembrance of me and forgetfulness of me. And Krishna helps others to forget him. So it is the Supreme Lord himself who acts in the same way. He helps us to forget him, if we want to. So you could see that Virochana is not ready to take transcendental knowledge. He's not ready to perform austerity. For receiving transcendental knowledge, one must first perform austerity. So, okay, I'll first give an answer without austerity, just like that. Indra wasn't satisfied. Indra then performed austerity, and then he received other answers, still not satisfied, more austerity. Finally got the real answer. Because that mood of austerity, of controlling the mind and the senses, which austerity is asking for, that is a requirement. If you're not willing to control the mind and the senses, what's the point of getting transcendental knowledge? Therefore, Virochana wasn't qualified. So he didn't pass the test. He was first tested, actually. Just see. Brahma was tricky. He was not answering directly. He was first testing his Virochana ready. And he was not. And we can see, because Virochana was very happy with the answer. Very satisfied. So in this way, Brahma helped the demons to be demons. Because they want to be demons. They're impious. They want exactly this. I am the enjoyer and I am the master. So, all right, go ahead. Lord Brahma understood. He will not take good advice. This is all he wants to hear. Let him take that. He didn't say he had to take it. He just offered it. So sometimes the Lord is testing like that, or sometimes Lord Brahma is testing like that. We see that sometimes a great devotee does great service, and then he's given everything away, and then at the end the demigods come, and they give him a great benediction and say, whatever you want, you can have it. Then one must say, no, there's nothing I want. I want only service to Krishna. So sometimes we are tested. So Virochana was tested
failed the test. Failed the exam. Indra passed. Like that. Rama is very intelligent, 4 hits. That's all.
See that even devotees go through a lot of struggles in life. And it is said that whatever devotees get, it comes from Krishna. It's their karma which is rearranged according to the Lord's will to purify the devotee. So then, but for whatever intelligence devotees have, they try to find remedies for the practical problems they face in life. So if they're doing that, then are they not interfering with the Lord's plan to purify them?
We have these kind of people in my country, the Netherlands. Yeah. They are from the Dutch Reformed Church, and they're very strict Christians. Sunday is the day of the Lord, and even the children have to stay inside the house on Sunday, not allowed outside, not allowed to play. I used to go as a kid and throw my ball in their garden, and I saw these kids behind the window. And I enjoyed it very much. Just to show that this religion was ridiculous. And then these parents, when their children get some disease, then they don't take any medicine. This is the will of the Lord. Child has high fever, no. This is the will of the Lord. So there's a story, it also kind of relates to my country, because my country is very low. And there are floods sometimes. Nowadays they control it with technology, but in 1953 there was a huge flood. And people were sitting on the roof of the house. So this one man is sitting on the roof of the house. A boat comes, and they say, "Get in the boat." He says, "No, my Lord will save me, not a boat." Then a helicopter. No, I will not come on your helicopter. God will save me. No, like this. And then he died. Then he comes before God after his life. He said, "Why didn't you save me?" He said, "What do you mean? I sent you a boat, I sent you a helicopter." What do you need? So he sends us the problem, but he's also sending us the solutions. He's also sending us the tools to do something about the problems. So we're not just sitting there fatalistic. Oh, what's my karma? What can I do? Take your 2 hands and do something about it. In other words, we can, by hard work, we should try to improve our destiny. Then still, if it doesn't work, well, then we accept. But we also can give them the solutions, the means. So we take some medicine. So that's not interfering with the Lord's plan. No. He's given us the problems and the solutions. So, problems, we don't worry about them. Krishna is so merciful. Okay, yes, the last one, I guess.
Thank you. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita explains that the soul is actually not doing anything, and everything is done by the modes of material nature. So the question is, how do we reconcile? And also the Krishna says that the soul is unchangeable. So how do we reconcile that in other places of the scriptures we can see so many, this is a good soul, this is a demon, or this is a pious man, soul. So how do we make a difference between the action of the modes of material nature and actual responsibility?
I got it.
And this is the question.
Thank you. Yes, the 3 modes of material nature, prakrite, kriyani, nigunakarni, sarvasaham, pravimudit, venkataham, iti manyate. The bewildered spirit soul thinks himself the doer of activities which is in actuality carried out by the 3
modes of material nature. So how is the soul responsible at all when the three modes of material nature are acting and so on now? And how can we rise above it? And all these kind of questions come up. The answer is this, is that as long as we are under the influence of the three modes of material nature, then we are like a ball on the waves and the wind. We are blown this direction and that direction. It's hot, we want ice cream. It's freezing cold, we want hot soup. Like that, we just respond to the external circumstances in so many ways. When you're 10 years old, you want to play. When you're 10 years old, you ring at the door of someone and you try to get your friend to come outside and play. When you're 20 years old, you ring at the doorbell with a bunch of roses to give to a certain person. When you're 10-year-old, you wouldn't go with roses. That would be totally ridiculous. Right? 10-year-old kid going with roses to the door, you're like, roses. What to do with roses, on a ball. So we see the dictates of the modes of material nature are there according to their age, according to the country, according to so many conditions. When you're Russian, you have to eat beet soup. It's a big thing. You have to have it, like that. Whereas I'm from Holland, it's cheese, So different countries have different things. All the three modes of material nature. So we are controlled by the three modes of material nature. But when you take to devotional service, then, only then, can you rise above the three modes of material nature. And for the first time, you actually can take your destiny in hand. So, that's devotional service. Devotional service is not controlled by the three modes of material nature. The devotional service rises above. And the pure devotee, he's completely above the three modes of material nature, and therefore no longer dictated by the three modes of material nature. He is completely controlled by Krishna at all times. But everybody else who turned away from Krishna, just controlled by the modes of material nature. And they think they're the doers. So it is like that. You see the point? So as long as you're conditioned soul, always controlled by the three modes of material nature. You do something pious, you go up. Do something impious, you go down. But as soon as you take devotional service, that's where you can take destiny in your hand and actually become free from the modes of material nature.
So that means there are no demons.
There are no demons. No, temporarily one is a demon, and temporarily demons can also be devotees. They can become devotees. They can transform and overcome their sinfulness. I guess what you're trying to say is, as long as we are conditioned, there is no responsibility, because it's the three modes of material nature. No, there is responsibility because we choose to be conditioned. We choose. We can at any moment choose not to. So the demons choose to be conditioned. Virochana chose. He chose for sense gratification. Indra didn't choose for it. That was his choice. He chose, Indra chose ultimately for something higher. And chose a life of service to Krishna. Virochana chose for material life. Then once material life goes on, three modes come. But still, we make choices. We make choices. So there is a sense of responsibility for our actions. We choose. The material situation creates a situation where one man, he's here, this man has become such an obstacle to me that I'm contemplating of removing him from existence. Because he's become such an obstacle. The material modes of nature have created the obstacle, but I have the choice. I can put something in his coffee, or not. That's up to me. That's up to me. But the circumstances come about by the modes of material nature. You see, and the more I get involved with greed and want to possess things, automatically people will become big obstacles to me. And it will come to the point where this person is such an obstacle that maybe we need to do some cleaning. That's that. Okay, the time has come to end. Thank you so much.